What's up guys, Mario Team Beige here, and today we are back with another video, and today I'm bringing you guys my post-Doom of Dimensions DDD deck profile. So, fun fact about me, DDD was one of the first decks that I got into when I was getting into Yu-Gi-Oh! Back in 2017. I think the cards are super cool, Declan is really cool, and there's some really cool cards in Doom of Dimensions, and today I will be showing you all one card combo with our boy, DD Savon Kepler. As well as a deck profile with some like deck building kind of choices that are sort of inferences of mine going into the next format. So let's get right into the combo. We're going to be starting with one Savant Kepler. If you don't know what he does, normal or special, you can add a Dark Contract from your deck to your hand. So we're going to go ahead and normal summon Kepler and go ahead and do that. We're going to add our Dark Contract with the Gate. If you remember from Unchained format, they were playing this to add the Vice King Armageddon to make Machinex to pop your traps, but we're using this for actual DDD combo. So we're going to go ahead and activate our Gate and add our newest card, our first new card, DDD 0 Demise King 0 Machinex. This card is broken. In the Pendulum Scale, if it was activated this turn, you can place a Dark Contract, spell or trap from your deck to your field face up, and then if a face up DDD or Dark Contract you control other than itself is destroyed while this is in the face up extra, you can special summon this card, then pop a card in the field. Really nice as a form of interruption. And then if this card in the monster zone is destroyed, you can place this card in the pendulum zone. So we're going to go ahead and place our Machinex and place another new card, Dark Contract with the Zero King. And then, so this is always a DD card, which is really nice. You can target a DD card you control, and then if you do, destroy it to special summon a DD monster from your deck, and then you can't summon for the rest of the turn except DDs, but that doesn't really matter. So we're going to go ahead and use it, and we're going to go ahead and pop our Machinex, and then we're going to go ahead and summon Kepler from the deck. Kepler is going to go ahead and Foolish a DD Lance Soldier. This guy says you can target a DD monster you control, increase its level by 2 up to the number of Dark Contracts in your field and grave. And then if this is in your grave, you can target a Dark Contract you can control, destroy it, and then special summon it, but banish it when it leaves the field. So we're going to go ahead and use our Lance Soldier to pop our Dark Contract with the Gate, and then we're going to summon our Lance Soldier, and then we're going to use its effect to make it go from level 2 to level 4, and then we're going to overlay our Copernicus and our Lance Soldier for a new extra deck monster, Wisdom King Solomon. You can detach a material from this card, add a DD card from your deck to your hand, and then if this card is banished, you can target a DD effect monster you control, and then if it destroys a monster by battle, increase damage equal to that opponent monster's attack. But we're going to use the effect to go ahead and search here, and we're going to go ahead and add our DD Griffin. This is usually an extender in the kind of like newer DD decks, and if it's Pendulum Summon, you can discard a DD to draw a card, or if it's summoned from grave, you can add a DD card from your deck to your hand. Came in Battles of Chaos, I believe, with Gilgamesh. We're going to overlay our Wisdom King and put Marksman King Tell on it. And then we're going to go ahead and link our two monsters for our Abyss King Gilgamesh. And then we're going to go Marksman King Tell Chainlink 1 to mill a DD monster to our graveyard. And then Gilgamesh to go ahead and place our Pendulum Scales. So we're going to place our Abyss Ragnarok and our Orthos. And then Tell's going to go ahead and send Necro Slime. And then here, we're going to go ahead and use our Griffin effect to special summon itself to the field since we control a DD. And then we're going to link into our new Link 3 Sky King Zeus Ragnarok. This card is so good. It says, nice Nibiru. And that's what matters. Basically, you can target a DD or Dark Contract you control, destroy it, and then during your main phase this turn, you can conduct an additional Pendulum Summon of DD monsters in addition to your Pendulum Summon. And then when your opponent activates a monster effect in the hand, you can banish one DD monster and one Dark Contract from your grave to negate the activation. So it's really nice. It negates Nib. It's like really all that matters. And then we're going to go ahead and use our Necro Slime to banish itself and Gilgamesh to summon our Flame King Genghis. We know him from the old combos. We're just going to trigger our Ragnarok, and then Ragnarok is going to go ahead and summon our King Tell to the field. And then we're going to go ahead, we lose 1,000 there. And then we're going to go Orthos popping itself and the King Tell. And then we're going to go King Tell effect, and we are going to also go our Machinex Chainlink 2 is going to summon itself, and then we're going to go ahead and mill our Griffin from the deck to the graveyard. And then we're going to go ahead and go Sky King Zeus Ragnarok to go ahead and pop our Machinex, which is going to trigger her effect to put her in the Pendulum Scale. So now we have a Scale 5 and a Scale 0, whereas before we had Scale 3 and Scale 5. We can combo there and still go like Pendulum. If we didn't do that, I think there's a point where we'd also have like 2 level 4s in the extra deck, and so we can pen that way. But this just sets it up kind of nicely. And then we're going to go ahead and pendulum summon our Baphomet and our Orthos, which is going to trigger our Genghis to go ahead and summon our Lance Soldier from the graveyard. And then here we're going to synchro with our Griffin and our Lance Soldier to summon the DDD Founder King Clovis. On special summon, you can target one of your banished DDs, or if a Dark Contract is on the field, which we do have one, you can target one in graveyard instead to special summon it. So we're going to go ahead and summon our Griffin, and then Griffin effect is going to go ahead and add our DDD Headhunt, which is, if you don't know what this does, it is basically change of heart for a DD, or for just any monster in your opponent's field, which is really nice. It's a form of interruption. And then we're going to go ahead and overlay our our Synchro and XYZ, our Synchro and our Fusion for a Wave High King Caesar. Yeah, Fiendsmith combo. And then we're going to go ahead and sync our Orthos and our Griffin into a Curse King Siegfried. This is the GOAT. This is the card I remember from the structure deck being super awesome. It's like one of my favorite cards. And then we're going to go ahead and use our Ragnarok effect to pop our or to use our additional pendulum summon. And then we're going to go ahead and summon our Griffin and our Orthos, as well as another Griffin. And then we're going to go ahead and overlay for Wave King Caesar. And then we're going to go ahead and link those two into another Gilgamesh. This is going to trigger our Caesar here, and we're going to add a Dark Contract with the gate just for some follow-up on the next turn. And then we're going to go ahead and stack our Divisor King Deus Machinex on top of Gilgamesh, set our Headhunt, and pass. So as far as interactions go, we have a negate in the hand by banishing a Dark Contract and a DD, since we didn't do it in our combo. We have our Machinex, which can use its effect to detach two materials or destroy a Dark Contract we control, which we do have one, to attach a monster that your opponent activates to its material. We have Caesar for two negates, and then Siegfried for spell trap negate, as well as our Headhunt. So pretty cool board we have here. Let's take a look at the deck. All right, and here's the deck profile. So I will acknowledge that one thing I have changed, I think, since recording that combo is I've actually put a different card in place of Headhunt in the main, and that is Dark Contract with the Eternal Darkness, which says while you have two DD cards in your pendulum zones, your opponent cannot target monsters on the field of spell trap effects, tribute them, nor for a tribute summon, nor use them as materials for a fusion, synchro, or Z summon. It's basically a floodgate that stops your opponent from playing. This is really good into Yummy. It's also good into Draco Tail. And well, it kind of. It depends on if they're able to pop Urgula, or you like use Urgula's effect already. But it's so far I'm liking this card a little bit more. You can search it off of the Wave King Caesar. So there's a world actually, I think, in that combo where you can go rather than going, so you can go Griffin when it's summoned from the grave. You can add Kepler, which will get to you to Dark Contract with the gate, and then link away the Caesar and then to add Dark Contract with Eternal Darkness. So that's like something you can do. But basically, yeah. So we're gonna go over the profile. We're playing 3-0 King Machinex. This is a starter. Like, we want to max out starters as much as possible. So we have 3 Machinex, 3 Kepler, and then 3 Dark Contract with the gate, as well as 1 Nightmare Throne. Nightmare Throne is a starter because it can add us Kepler as well as our Copernicus. And then as far as other cards in the deck, we have a couple of I'd consider maybe they're kind of bricks. This is a very DDD has always been kind of a multi-card combo deck, so there's a lot of different lines you can do depending on what cards are in your hand. But as far as cards you can maybe consider as bricks. We have the Count Surveyor. We didn't see it in the combo, but you can also summon this off of your Zero King gate, which basically on summon it can add a DD monster with 0 attack or defense. So you can add your Kepler or your Copernicus. But if you go the standard line, you can go Contract Zero King, summon Count Surveyor, add Copernicus, normal Copernicus, and then dump the Lance Soldier that way. So that is kind of how it works. 1 Copernicus, 1 Lance Soldier, 1 Necroslime, 1 Orthos. You only need 1. We didn't see it in the combo, but I'm playing 2 DD Scale Surveyor. So this deck is a little bit weak to cards like Imperm, especially on Kepler or Gilgamesh. And so this card works as an extender just to be able to go into different plays. If you have a DD Pendulum monster card, you can special this card from your hand. And then if it's normal special, you can make it a level 4. So you can make your Wise King Solomon that way, or you can synchro into your Siegfried, which is really nice. And then we are playing, yeah, like I said, 3 Griffin, 3 Dark Contract to the gate, 1 Gate 0. It's all you need. It's just a engine requirement. 1 Abyss Ragnarok. This is I'd say maybe this is the scale you really don't want to draw, because Orthos you can use kind of as a breaker, but it's kind of better to not draw Ragnarok. He does have an effect where on summon he can summon a triple D from your grave, and then he contribute another DDD monster to then to banish a monster your opponent controls. 1 Called by, 1 Dark Contact with Eternal Darkness. And then for our like non-engine, we have the Called by. I'm playing currently 15 hand traps right now. I think this deck wants to be a hand trap deck. Just because you can't really synergize. I don't think you can synergize too many breakers with this, which the side looks crazy with me saying that, but we'll talk about that in a minute. So we're playing 3 Ash Blossom, 3 Fua. These are kind of like the best non-engine right now that you can have as hand traps. 3 Impulse, I'd say is worth it in this deck, just because this deck does not care about Impulse in the slightest. As you can see, as I'm like hovering over, it's like all darks, and then you have fires and waters. So that's really all that matters. We're not playing like Alexander or anything, so it doesn't matter. But Impulse is really good in my opinion. You need something for Draco Tail, you need something for Mitsu. And which in my opinion, those are going to be like probably the 2 most seen decks, as well as Yummy. So like these 9 cards are really good into that. Nib is something I'm trying for like Yummy, as well as a lot of like tier 2 decks that are going to be seen probably. So like Lunalight, there's a lot of things that fall into in my mind as tier 2 that basically qualify as like worlds format decks. So like Crystron K9, I think people are still going to try and play Vanquish, especially with Naroi, and they're going into a Saryuja combo, which you can have you can pair Nib sort of. So it's maybe worth for now. And then Imperm, just because we're playing Impulse. I don't think Imperm is very strong, but I think it's like all right to have. Droplet doesn't really synergize with the deck, so we're just playing like this lineup here. For the extra deck, we are playing our 1 Zeus Ragnarok, 2 Gilgamesh, 1 Solomon, 1 Wave King Caesar, 1 Tell, 1 Wave High King Caesar, 2 Machinex, just because he's an endboard piece and you want to be able to use him as a breaker, kind of going second. 1 Kali Yuga, you can hard make this, which is really funny. I don't know if there's a world to come up, but I think that like considering we're able to make like rank 8s, I think it's worth trying. 1 Clovis for the combo, 1 Siegfried, 1 Flame Genghis, 1 Wave Flame High King Genghis. You can make this as on like your turn for like extra extension. This is probably how you can get into Kali Yuga. And then also he's a spell and trap negate on your turn. So he's kind of cool to have just as something to fuse to. And then we have our big boss monster which is the cover card, which is the DDDD Great Dimension King Arc Crisis. You can target any number of dark contract cards you control, destroy them, then you can special summon up to that many Doom King Pendulum monsters from your deck and or extra deck. You can only use this effective quadruple D Great Dimension King Arc Crisis once per turn. And then his monster effect, you can summon him with a fusion, synchro, Xyz, and 1 pendulum. Must be either fusion summoned or special summoned from your face down extra deck by banishing the above cards from your field and or graveyard. So if you get Flame Genghis, King Clovis, and then Solomon, and then like a Griffin in your grave, you can banish them to summon this guy. And then if this card is special summoned, you can negate the effects of all face-up monsters your opponent currently controls. And this card can attack all monsters your opponent controls once each. If this card in the monster zone is destroyed, you can place it in the pendulum zone. So basically, this guy is your big push for game. Fun fact, you can summon this card with heavy poly. You just go heavy poly dump like Clovis, Genghis, Solomon, and then and then also like Infernity or what is it? You can do Clovis, Solomon, a like Kepler if you have one engraved, and then banish in hand, and then you can banish Infernity Evil from your not Inferni, Inferno Evil, which because it has 0 attack and it fulfills the fusion requirement. So you take 0 damage from the fusion part, but it's pretty cool. For the side deck, this is like kind of just theory in my head. I haven't like done too much testing with it. We have 3 Joel and Lockbird. I think Mitsu's gonna be everywhere. I think Lunalight's gonna be everywhere. I think Crystron's gonna be everywhere. Well, maybe not everywhere, but basically a lot of decks that fall into tier 2 in my mind, this included, are things that will lose to Droll. And so I think Droll is pretty like important right now to have in the side deck, which is a little unfortunate. I'd say Mitsu is higher than tier 2, but yeah, so Droll I think is here. And then just for like the approach that I'm taking with this is what I'm doing actually. These like well, maybe not talents, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 cards is what I'm doing in my Mitsu deck right now. Which I'll do a profile on that later. Of what I think for like this upcoming format. But these 7 cards I think are just good just to like break boards. Duster with 3 Lightning Storm and Talents is really good into Mitsurugi. Duster, Talent, and then like Dark Ruler is really good into Yummy. So I'm just kind of trying that approach, especially with no Dice Smashers. The one thing you have to watch out for is K9 decks are playing Mjolnir, the artifact, which can like basically stun lock you, which is really annoying. So which is why I'm still taking a hand trap approach for this in the main, just in case they try and do that, and you can throw in like Droll or something if they like attempt to do that. Whereas like Yummy and Mitsurugi and even Draco Tail, you really want breakers to just kind of like break their board. And then I'm playing Two Thrust just because Headhunt is technically a normal trap, so you could set it off that, or you could set Impulse or Imperm, or like going second, there's like not really engine you can search, so I'd maybe like just do this going first, just for like maybe you can throw in a power trap here as well, and then playing one judgment just because it's a combo deck. But anyways, let me guys know what you think in the comment section down below about the deck profile. I'm excited to pick these cards up and start playing with them this weekend, because this weekend is sneak peek. So if you liked the video, subscribe to Team Beige, and I'll see y'all later. Peace.